Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another Neurodivergent Ninja Stars podcast episode. Again, a bit more of an introduction before we start getting in really into the interviews, but uh, I want to keep the flavour going, keep the time coming whilst we have the applications come in. And this subject I want to talk about is a subject that probably causes shivers to run through every neurodivergent individual in the world. Change. The word change. Let's face it, we hate it. We hate any sort of change, whether that be big stuff, um, even to minute details. Even if you feel like someone has sat in your seat, it feels wrong, it feels off. It's one of the worst things in the world, and it's hard to deal with. Now, what can we do about change? Well, nothing. Sadly, change is always going to happen. As much as we want to try and stop it from happening, it's going to happen. But whilst we can't do anything about change, we actually can do something to change the way that we feel about change, to allow us to embrace it a little bit more. And what I thought I would do is use my personal experiences to try and help you guys to deal with changes in life. And I suppose it comes down to two things, and they're sort of linked with each other as well. So, two things. First one is a bit of a weird one. Let it go. See, sometimes probably the thing that makes it most difficult to deal with change is feeling like you're not in control of things. And that can feel rough if you feel like you want to be in control of things. And like I say, everyone wants to be in control of their own lives. Understandable, be in control of their own destiny. But it actually shows a measure of control admitting that you can't be in control. What do I mean by that? Well, think about it this way. If you feel like you need to be in control of everything to feel like you've got a measure of thing in your life, the moment that is wrestled from your hands, you've lost complete control, right? Think about it this way. Any of you guys that might have been learning to drive, right? Every now and again, if you make a mistake or something like that, the instructor or whoever's sitting with you might have to grab the handbrake and stop, or grab the steering wheel back from you, right? And what would you do in that scenario? See, if you grab the steering wheel tighter or fight the handbrake, you're actually going to cause more problems, because rather than going with the grabbing of the steering wheel, which probably is going to fix it, you're going to wrestle it back, and you're going to be even more out of control than when you were when you started. And the same is true in life. If you are determined to be in control of everything, then the very second that it's wrestled from you, it becomes a fight. It knocks you completely off your balance, and you're gone. So, being able to go, do you know what? I cannot control everything, changes the way you feel about things, because then you look at, well, what can I control? What I can control is me. It's a different way of looking at it. And that sort of links into the second thing, and it really opens it up as to exactly where I'm going with this. Because if you want to have some sort of being able to deal with it in the change in the best way, do you know the best way of dealing with that? Be part of the change. Because being part of the change accepts that changes sometimes need to happen. You can't improve things without changing things. You know what I mean? So seeing where changes can happen. For example, maybe you're at work and you know things aren't perfect, right? And you know changes are most likely going to come. What's a great way of ensuring there's almost like a measure of control? Suggesting ways it can change, being a part of it. I can say for absolute certainty that I am dealing with change much better as a manager than as someone at the bottom rung. Why? That's got nothing to do with the fact that all the change doesn't affect me any differently, but it's to do with the fact that as a manager, I am obligated to make changes. So I'm aware of the changes. I know how it's going to happen. I can see long term how it's going to happen. So I can control how I deal with it. I can control how other people deal with it to a certain extent, and helping soften the blow for others, right? And so, in a weird way, by being part of the change, you're controlling more of what's going on. You accept that things are going to happen. You know, as an example, right? Let's say, oh, I'm trying to think of an actual example that can prove my point. But yeah, let's say you're at work and there is a process at the workplace that is not working out correctly, right? And no one's bad at your workplace. There's no one that's evil or anything like that. Maybe apart from one or two. Um, but it's just a process that just does not work. Now, you know that could be a process that changes. Why not suggest ways it could change and improve and go, well, this is what this happens. This is what happens here. This is what happens here, right? That's what happens in good working scenarios. Give you an example. Like I say, I've been part of a change that has happened, right? Do you want to know how that change happened that we managed to deal with it best? My boss came to me and my fellow colleague and said, look, I need to take a step back. I need you guys to take more control over situations. What's the challenge with it? What needs to change to help you guys to be able to do that? So we mention the challenges and then we brainstorm together, right? How do we change that? How do we improve that? How do we help this to go down? We know what the end goal is. We've got to do more. So how do we help ourselves to do more? Make those sorts of changes. And that is how you can feel better about it. That way, when we're sending the email going, this change is happening, we're already feeling hyped and positive and amazing about this change because we are part of that change. And in a similar sort of way, when we're doing it as part of a trial period, we will encourage our team to give us feedback so that they can feel part of the change. So if you are someone that's dealing with the changes, be constructive with whoever is giving you that change. Tell them the things that are the challenges, the things that you appreciate, all this sort of thing, because then you are giving them the feedback to help them adjust the change to fit you. And then you can deal with change better. Look, don't get me wrong. Change is still difficult. Change is still a real horrible thing to deal with. But by being part of it, you can control it and you can deal with it a hell of a lot better. It's something I've benefited from, and I can only hope that my advice benefits you guys too. Take care of yourselves and continue to subscribe, all that jazz. Anywhere, any way that you can support the channel. Any support is appreciated. Thank you.